Yo, so Dennis, I gotta ask you something, man. When you left the feds, did you think private security was gonna be easier or harder?
Oh man, I thought I was done with the heavy stuff, you know what I mean? Like I genuinely believed I was stepping into something lighter.
Right, because what you're about to tell people, this ain't your regular club security story, bro. This is some real life or death type situation.
I was so wrong, Jay. Like completely wrong about what I was getting into with private work.
Picture this, 2:47 a.m., downtown parking garage, Dennis is standing between three dirty cops and his client's SUV, right?
Yeah, that's exactly how it went down, man. That time is burned into my memory forever.
In that SUV, surveillance footage that proves which detectives are on the syndicate's payroll, like we're talking hard evidence of corruption.
Everything was on those drives, bro. Names, faces, transactions. The whole operation documented over 3 weeks of surveillance.
One cop's got his hand on his service weapon. The lead detective is smiling. That kind of smile that says, we can make you disappear.
That smile still haunts me sometimes, you know? It was the confidence of someone who'd done this before and gotten away with it.
Dennis has two choices. Hand over the evidence and watch his client die within 24 hours, or make a move that ends careers, maybe lives.
There was no good option in that moment, man. Either way, somebody was going to pay a price for what happened next.
What he did next? That's why we're here today. This is the protection perspective. I'm Big J, and this one's different.
Yeah, this one changed everything about how I look at security work, how I look at trust, all of it.
So Dennis, let's take it back. How many years were you federal before you made the jump to private?
Spent 14 years as a federal agent, mainly on the organised crime task force. We handled financial crimes, interstate trafficking, the whole 9 yards.
Damn, 14 years is a long time in that world. What kind of cases were you working on a daily basis?
We were tracking money flows, running surveillance operations, witness protection coordination. A lot of it was following the money to find the bigger players.
So you were deep in it, seeing how these organizations actually operate from the inside. That's valuable experience right there.
Exactly, and that's what made what happened later so crazy, because I knew the patterns. I knew how they moved.
When you left, what made you go into private security instead of, retirement or something easier?
Left because of bureaucracy and politics, man. I wanted more direct action, less red tape, less sitting in meetings about meetings.
I feel that, bro. The paperwork and politics can kill you faster than the actual job sometimes.
For real, and I thought private security would be straightforward. Protect people, get paid, go home to my family. Simple.
But it ain't never that simple, is it? Especially when you got the skills to see things other people miss.
Nah, it's not. My first client was a nightclub owner in the city. Guy seems legit. A clean operation on paper.
On paper is the key phrase there. What was really going on once you got inside?
Within 2 weeks, I started noticing patterns. Same luxury vehicles showing up. Same faces in VIP. Cash transactions that didn't make sense for a club.
You were tracking organized crime movements for years. Did that experience prepare you for what you'd see in the private sector?
It helped me recognize it faster, but I wasn't prepared for how deep it went or how many people were involved.
When did you first realize the nightlife scene was connected to bigger operations? Like, when did it click for you?
I realized this club wasn't just a club. It was a hub for something much bigger. Money laundering, territory marking, meetings in VIP sections.
A hub? Okay, so they were using it as like a base of operations. That's wild, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw graffiti tags outside that I recognized from federal briefings. Specific crews marking their territory, claiming blocks.
Hold up, so you're seeing tags from cases you worked federally? That had to be a crazy moment, like, oh shit, I know these guys.
It was surreal, bro. Like I'm supposed to be done with this world, and here I'm right back in it.
So you're seeing all these red flags? What was your client saying about all this? Was he aware of what was happening?
Client's name was Marcus. Owned 3 clubs, seemed legit on paper, but Marcus was terrified, man. Wouldn't say why at first.
Terrified how? Like, was he jumpy, looking over his shoulder type stuff?
Yeah, exactly that. He kept asking me to watch for specific people, but wouldn't tell me who or why. Red flag right there.
That's when you know something's up, when your client can't even tell you the full story. What did you find out?
Then I caught it. Bathroom traffic. Every Friday. Same guy, same stool, 20-minute intervals like clockwork. Too consistent to be normal.
Oh, nah. See, I know that pattern. That ain't nobody with a bladder problem, that's business being conducted.
Exactly what it was. Wasn't using the bathroom, he was moving product. Cocaine, pills, whatever the weekend crowd wanted.
So you got a whole operation running right under the club's name. When did you confront Marcus about it?
I pulled him aside after I'd documented it for about a week. Had photos, times, everything. He broke down, told me everything.
What did he say? Like, what was the real story behind all this?
The organisation had approached him 2 years ago. Let us operate, take a cut, or we burn your clubs down. Simple choice.
Damn, so it's either play ball or lose everything you built. That's a hell of a position to put somebody in.
He took the deal. Didn't have a choice, 3 clubs, employees depending on him, his whole livelihood on the line.
I get it, man. When they come at you like that, what you gonna do? But it never stops there, right?
Never. Now they wanted more. Use the club for meetings, store cash in the office safe, let their enforcers work as security.
So they just keep taking more and more until they basically own the whole operation. That's how they work.
Yeah, and Marcus wanted out. That's when things got really dangerous, when he started pushing back against their demands.
When did the first direct threat come? Like, when did it go from business arrangement to them making moves on him?
3 weeks before the parking garage incident, Marcus found a missing person flyer. Girl last seen at his club. Started asking questions.
Oh man, that's the wrong thing to do in that situation. You start asking about missing people, you're gonna get attention.
Exactly, it was the wrong move. Next night, 2 guys in suits show up. Not syndicate guys, they're detectives.
Wait, detectives? So now the cops are involved? That's when you know it's deeper than you thought.
They pull Marcus into his office, tell him stop asking questions about the girl, stop making waves, or we'll find drugs in your club and shut you down.
So the cops are threatening him, like actual police officers telling him to shut up about a missing person?
That's when Marcus hired me full-time. He knew the cops were dirty, knew he needed someone who understood how this worked.
And you got the federal background, so you know how to document this stuff properly. What did you start doing?
I started documenting everything. Which cops came by when they showed up, who they talked to, what they did while they were there.
Building a case, basically. Getting evidence together. Did you install cameras or just manual observation?
Installed hidden cameras in the office, angles they wouldn't spot. Caught one detective taking an envelope of cash from a known enforcer.
On camera? Yo, that's direct evidence right there. You got him taking money from the organization.
Yeah, and I caught another detective making a call. Then 10 minutes later, the organization's crew shows up to handle a problem customer.
So they're coordinating together. The cops are literally calling in the muscle when they need something done. That's crazy, man.
The coordination was perfect, bro. They've been doing this for years, had the whole system down. They knew when to move, how to move.
At what point did you know this was bigger than just a security job? Like, when did it hit you?
When I realized how many cops were involved, it wasn't just 1 or 2 dirty guys, it was a whole network.
A whole network of corruption. That's what makes it so dangerous. They can cover for each other, make evidence disappear.
Right, and they had the power to make people disappear too. That missing girl, I don't think we'll ever know what happened to her.
That's heavy, man. So walk me through that night. The night everything exploded. What was supposed to happen?
Saturday night, packed house. Marcus told me he was meeting with a lawyer the next day, going to cooperate with the FBI.
So he's ready to flip, ready to bring everything down. Did he have the evidence ready to go?
He had copies of all my surveillance footage in his SUV, parked in the garage across the street. Everything documented and ready.
Okay, so the plan was get through the night, meet the lawyer Sunday morning, turn everything over to the feds. Simple enough.
That was the plan. Yeah. Get through one more night, then blow the whole thing open and let the FBI handle it.
When did you realize it was a setup? Like, what happened that made you know something was wrong?
Around 1 a.m, 2 masked guys run in through the back entrance, armed, heading straight for the register like it's a robbery.
Okay, so you got armed guys coming in, but you said you knew it was a setup. What tipped you off?
Something felt wrong. They weren't nervous, weren't looking around scared. Too calm, too professional for a regular stick-up.
Yeah, real robbers are usually tweaking, looking paranoid. If they're calm, they're professionals doing a job.
I moved to intercept, and that's when I saw it. One of them had a radio earpiece. That's not robbery equipment.
Oh damn, so they're coordinating with somebody outside. This wasn't a robbery at all, was it?
This was a distraction, man. Get everyone focused on the front while the real move happens in the back.
So what did you do? You grabbed Marcus and got him out of there?
I grabbed Marcus, told him, we need to move now. Headed for the back exit, thinking we could slip out.
But they were waiting for you, weren't they? That's how these things work. They got all the exits covered.
There's 3 enforcers waiting at the back door. Guys I recognized from the surveillance footage I'd been collecting for weeks.
So you're face to face with the actual muscle from the organization. What did they say to you?
Lead guy says, Marcus, we need to talk about your plans for tomorrow. They knew about the lawyer meeting. Knew everything.
Somebody tipped them off, had to be. You got a leak somewhere. Someone told them Marcus was going to cooperate.
Had to be. Yeah. I put myself between Marcus and them, hand on my weapon, ready to draw if I had to.
So now you're in a standoff in the back hallway while the club's still going. People have no idea what's happening.
Music pounding, people dancing 50 feet away, completely oblivious. Meanwhile, we're seconds away from gunfire in the back.
What did the lead enforcer say to you? Like, how did he try to play it?
He says, walk away. This doesn't concern you. Trying to give me an out, let me leave Marcus to them.
But you couldn't do that, right? That's not how you operate. You don't just abandon your client when it gets hot.
I said, he's my client. That makes it my concern. Simple as that, man. I'm not walking away.
That's real right there, bro. A lot of people would have taken that out, but you stood your ground.
He smiled that cold smile, said, you are federal. You know how this works. You know what happens to people who talk.
So he's threatening you, but also acknowledging that you know the game. That's a power move right there.
Then he said the thing that changed everything. We've got 3 detectives on speed dial. You pull that weapon, you're the bad guy.
Damn, so he's telling you straight up, we got cops on our side, you'll be dead or in prison before sunrise.
Exactly what he said. You'll be dead or in prison before sunrise. And I realized they were right about the corrupt cops spinning it.
That's the scary part, when you know the system itself is compromised. You can't even call for help the normal way.
If this went loud, the corrupt cops would show up, make me the aggressor, plant evidence if they had to. I'd lose everything.
So what did you do? You're trapped between these enforcers and knowing you can't draw your weapon. What's the move?
So I made a call in that moment. Marcus, run for your car, now. Just gave him the order to bolt.
You sent him running while you stayed? That's putting yourself in the line of fire, man.
He bolted and the enforcers moved to follow him. I had maybe 2 seconds to make another decision before they got past me.
What did you do to stop them? You couldn't shoot, couldn't let them get to Marcus.
I didn't pull my weapon. Instead, I grabbed the fire alarm and pulled it. Whole club evacuates immediately.
Yo, that's smart, though. You created chaos, got hundreds of witnesses flooding the exits. They can't make a move with all those people.
Exactly, man. Chaos was my friend in that moment. Hundreds of people flooding the exits, confusion everywhere, security trying to manage it.
In the confusion, did you get to Marcus? Like, were you able to meet up with him?
Yeah, I got to Marcus in the crowd. We made it to the parking garage across the street. Thought we were clear for a minute.
That's when the cops showed up, right? The dirty ones from your surveillance footage?
3 cops showed up, the exact ones from my surveillance footage. Lead detective, guy named Kowalski, walks up calm as anything.
Kowalski, okay. So this dude's the ringleader on the cop side. What did he say when he walked up?
Says, Dennis, you're making a mistake. Hand over those recordings, walk away, and we'll forget this happened. Just like that, casual.
He's giving you an out, but you know if you take it, Marcus is dead within a day. What'd you say back?
I said, can't do that. Just flat out refused him. Wasn't going to hand over evidence that could save lives.
How'd he react to that? I'm guessing he didn't take it well when you refused.
He said, then you're obstructing an investigation. We'll arrest you both, impound the vehicle, and that evidence disappears. Straight up threat.
So he's going to use his badge to steal the evidence and make it vanish. That's when his partner reached for his weapon?
Yeah, his partner's hand went to his service weapon. I could see him calculating whether to draw on me right there.
Take me to that moment. What were you thinking when you saw his hand go to his weapon?
I looked at Marcus. He was shaking, terrified. Then looked back at Kowalski and made my decision in that second.
What did you do when that cop reached for his weapon? Like, what was your move in that moment?
I said, you pull that weapon. I'm calling this into every news station and federal office I know. This garage has cameras.
You called his bluff, told him he'd be famous if he made that move. That's using his own corruption against him.
I said, you'll be famous. And Kowalski's jaw clenched. He knew I was right, knew he couldn't make me disappear with cameras watching.
But you're not out of it yet, right? Because the enforcers are still out there somewhere.
His radio crackled right then. One of the enforcers saying, we've got the exits covered. They were coordinating the whole thing.
So you're trapped. Dirty cops in front, syndicate enforcers behind, and Marcus's life depending on what you did next. That's impossible, man.
I made a decision that still keeps me up at night, bro. I called a friend, former federal colleague who went to the FBI field office.
You called the FBI right there in front of the dirty cops? That's bold as hell, man.
Put him on speakerphone right there in the garage. I've got 3 officers attempting to seize evidence of corruption. Need immediate assistance.
On speaker so they could hear it? Yo, you wanted them to know the feds were coming. What was Kowalski's reaction?
Gave the address, described the situation, and Kowalski's face went white. He knew exactly what that meant for him and his partners.
Because now there's a federal record of the call. They can't make it disappear. What did he say to you?
He said, you just signed your death warrant. Then he and his partners got in their car and left before federal response arrived.
They couldn't stick around with the feds coming. That would expose them. But the enforcers didn't leave, did they?
The enforcers behind us. They didn't leave, man. They came at us, 3 guys, all armed, done playing games.
So now you got a gunfight about to happen. Walk me through what happened next, step by step.
I drew my weapon, told Marcus to get in the SUV and drive. He needed to get out of there with the evidence.
You stayed behind to hold them off while Marcus got away. That's putting your life on the line right there.
First guy raised his pistol at me. I fired twice, sent a mass. He went down immediately, didn't get a shot off.
You had to take the shot. It was you or him. What happened with the second guy?
Second guy took cover behind a pillar, started shooting at me. Round hit the concrete next to my head. Felt the fragments hit my face.
Damn, that's close. You could have been hit in the head right there. How'd you get him?
Returned fire, hit him in the shoulder. He dropped his weapon, went down. Wasn't a kill shot, but he was out of the fight.
What about the third guy? You said there were 3 enforcers total.
Third guy was smart. He ran when he saw his boys go down, disappeared into the stairwell, didn't want any part of it.
He made the smart choice, got out while he could. What was Marcus doing during all this?
Marcus was screaming, engine running, trying to process what just happened. I got in the SUV and we drove straight to the FBI field office.
Straight there, no stops. Smart move. Get to safety before they regroup. Did anyone get hurt that you shot?
The guy I shot sent a mass. Died before the ambulance arrived. The second one survived, ended up cooperating with the feds later.
So you killed a man that night. That's heavy, bro. I know it was self-defense, but still, how do you process that?
It was him or me, him or Marcus. I made the choice I had to make, but yeah, it stays with you.
What happened when you got to the FBI office? Like, what did you hand over to them?
Handed over everything. Surveillance footage, financial records, names, dates, times. 3 weeks of documentation on the whole operation.
That's what they needed to build a case. What happened after that? Did the FBI launch an investigation?
FBI launched a massive investigation. Took down 11 dirty cops, 23 syndicate members over the next 6 months. Huge operation.
11 cops? Damn, that's a whole network of corruption. What happened to Kowalski, the lead detective?
Kowalski got 18 years federal time. 2 of his partners flipped on him, cooperated with the investigation, got reduced sentences.
They turned on him to save themselves. That's how it always goes. Everybody looking out for number one when it falls apart.
The organization? They scattered after the arrests, but they didn't forget what happened. They knew who gave up the evidence.
What happened to Marcus? Because I'm guessing he couldn't just go back to running his clubs after all this.
Marcus went into witness protection. Last I heard, he's somewhere in the Midwest. New name, new life, completely disappeared.
He had to give up everything he built just to stay alive. That's the cost of doing the right thing sometimes.
Yeah, he lost his clubs, his identity, his whole life. But he's alive, and that's more than a lot of people can say.
What about you? Did you face any consequences for the shooting, or was it ruled self-defense?
Self-defense. Justified shooting. But the threats were constant after that, man. The organization has a long memory and deep pockets.
So you're getting threatened even after the arrests? Like they're still coming after you for what you did?
I had to leave the city, bro. Moved my family, changed how I operate, basically started over in a different state.
You had to uproot your whole family because of this job. That's a hell of a price to pay for doing the right thing.
It was either that or constantly look over my shoulder, worry about my kids' safety. Wasn't worth the risk staying there.
How did this change how you operate now? Like, what do you do differently when you take on clients?
Now I vet every client, every job thoroughly. If I see syndicate connections, organized crime ties, I walk away immediately. Not worth it.
You learned the hard way that some money ain't worth taking. Better to walk away than end up in another situation like that.
Exactly, man. That night taught me, in this business, you're never just protecting a person from random threats.
What do you mean? Like you're protecting them from bigger things than just physical danger?
You're protecting them from systems, from corruption, from organizations that have infinite patience and resources. It's bigger than just one person.
That's real, bro. It's not just about stopping a punch or blocking a door. It's about understanding the whole ecosystem of threats.
And sometimes the only way to win is to burn it all down and hope you survive the fire. That's what we did.
You had to destroy the whole network to save one person. That takes courage, man, especially knowing the consequences you'd face.
I think about that missing girl sometimes, the one Marcus asked about. If we'd acted sooner, maybe she'd still be alive.
You can't think like that, bro. You did what you could with the information you had at the time.
I know, but it's hard not to wonder, you know? How many other people got hurt while that network was operating?
That's the weight you carry when you do this work. You see the consequences of corruption, the people who get hurt by it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm more selective now. I need to know I can actually protect someone before I take the job.
For people listening who work security, what's the lesson here? What do you want them to take away from this story?
The lesson is simple. Know what you're protecting and why you're doing it. Don't just collect a paycheck without understanding the situation.
That's important, man. You gotta know what you're getting into before you commit to protecting someone.
If you're just collecting a paycheck, fine. But understand the risks you're taking. Know what you're willing to sacrifice.
And if you're protecting someone's life, like really protecting it, what does that require?
Be ready to make hard decisions. Decisions that might change your life forever. Because when it goes sideways, and it will, you need an exit strategy.
Always have a backup plan. Always know your exits. That's basic stuff, but people forget it when things get comfortable.
Comfort is dangerous in this line of work. The moment you get comfortable is when you miss the signs that something's wrong.
You missed any signs early on with Marcus, or did you catch everything as it developed?
I should have pushed harder in the first week, when I saw the patterns. I knew something was off, but I didn't act fast enough.
Sometimes you gotta trust your gut immediately, not wait for confirmation. Your instincts are usually right in this business.
Exactly, and my federal training told me something was wrong, but I second-guessed myself because it was supposed to be a simple job.
There's no such thing as a simple job when organized crime is involved. They complicate everything they touch.
That's the truth right there. Once you see those connections, you know it's going to get complicated fast.
Dennis, man, that's one of the heaviest stories we've had on this show. You literally had to choose between your client's life and your own safety.
Yeah, it was the hardest decision I've ever made in my career, but I'd make it again if I had to.
And you made the hard call, the right call. Even knowing what it would cost you personally, you did it anyway.
Because at the end of the day, I have to look at myself in the mirror. I couldn't live with myself if I'd walked away.
That's integrity right there, man. A lot of people talk about it, but you actually lived it when it mattered most.
It cost me a lot. My home, my sense of security, almost my family. But Marcus is alive and those dirty cops are in prison.
You took down a whole corruption network, saved lives even if we don't know how many. That's real impact, bro.
I just hope people understand that this work isn't glamorous. It's life and death, and the consequences are real and permanent.
Dennis, appreciate you coming on and sharing this. I know it wasn't easy to talk about, especially the shooting and everything that followed.
Thanks for having me, Jay. If this story helps even one person make a better decision in a bad situation, it's worth telling.
To everyone listening, this is what real protection work looks like sometimes. It's not glamorous, it's not fun, it's life and death decisions.
And it's making impossible choices with incomplete information while people's lives hang in the balance. That's the reality of it.
If you're in this industry, stay safe, stay smart, and know when to walk away from a situation that's too hot.
But if you can't walk away, make sure you're ready for what comes next, because there's no going back once you commit.
That's real advice right there. Subscribe to The Protection Perspective wherever you get your podcasts, leave us a review, share this episode.
Share it with someone in the industry who needs to hear it. These stories need to be told so people understand what they're getting into.
And if you've got a story like Dennis's, reach out to us. We want to hear it. We want to share it with the community.
The more we share these experiences, the better prepared the next generation of security professionals will be when they face similar situations.
Until next time, stay protected, stay aware, and remember that sometimes doing the right thing costs everything, but it's still the right thing.
Stay safe out there, everyone. Trust your instincts, protect your people, and be ready to make the hard calls when you have to.
Before we wrap up completely, I got to ask you something that's been on my mind this whole conversation.
Go ahead, man.
The psychological weight of all this, the shooting, the investigation, watching your back constantly. How did you process that mentally?
Man, that's the part nobody talks about enough in this industry. The mental toll is brutal, and it hits you in waves you don't expect.
What do you mean by waves?
Like the first week after the shooting, I was running on pure adrenaline and survival mode. I felt invincible, like I had done what needed to be done. And that was that.
That's the body's natural response to trauma, keeping you functional.
Exactly, but then week 2 hit, and I started having nightmares. Not about the shooting itself, but about what could have happened if I'd hesitated 1 second longer.
The what-ifs will destroy you if you let them. I've been there myself, different situation, but same mental spiral.
I'd wake up at 3 a.m, sweating, seeing Marcus's face on the ground, blood everywhere. Except in the nightmares, I'm too slow and he's dead.
Did you talk to anyone about it? Therapist, counselor, anybody?
Not at first. I thought I could tough it out, you know? I'm a professional. I've been trained for high-stress situations. I should be able to handle this.
That's the toxic masculinity in this industry talking. We tell ourselves we're supposed to be rocks, unmovable, unbreakable.
And it nearly broke me. About a month in, I was sitting in my temporary apartment, gun in my hand, checking the windows every 5 minutes like someone was coming for me.
Hypervigilance, classic PTSD symptom.
I couldn't turn it off. Every car that slowed down near my building, every stranger who looked at me twice, every sound in the hallway, I was convinced it was them coming to finish what they started.
What finally made you reach out for help?
My daughter. She came to visit me and I saw the fear in her eyes when she looked at me. Not fear of me, but fear for me. She could see I was falling apart.
Sometimes it takes someone else's perspective to see how bad we've gotten.
She said, "Dad, you saved Marcus's life, but you're killing yourself." That hit me harder than any bullet could have. So I finally called a therapist who specializes in trauma for law enforcement and security professionals.
How long did you work with them?
2 years. Twice a week at first, then once a week, then monthly. I still check in with her every few months, even now, 4 years later.
That's real strength right there, recognizing you need ongoing support. What kind of techniques helped you the most?
EMDR therapy was huge for me. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Sounds weird, but it helped me process the trauma without getting stuck in the emotional loop every time I thought about it.
I've heard good things about that for PTSD.
It was a game changer. Also learned breathing techniques, grounding exercises for when the hypervigilance kicked in, and how to differentiate between real threats and my trauma response.
That last one is critical in our line of work because we need to stay alert, but there's a difference between professional awareness and debilitating paranoia.
Exactly. I had to relearn how to assess threats objectively instead of seeing danger everywhere. It took time, but I got there.
Did the legal process make the psychological recovery harder because you're dealing with trauma while also having to relive it for investigators and lawyers?
100%. Every deposition, every meeting with prosecutors, every time I had to walk them through what happened, it was like ripping the scab off a wound that was trying to heal.
And you couldn't just refuse to cooperate because these cops needed to be held accountable.
Right. So I'd spend 2 hours in a conference room describing the shooting in excruciating detail, then go home and have nightmares that night. It was a vicious cycle.
How did your therapist help you navigate that specific challenge?
She taught me compartmentalization techniques. Not suppression, which is unhealthy, but the ability to put the trauma in a mental box when I needed to function, then process it in a safe environment with her.
That's a critical skill for anyone in high-stress professions.
It saved my sanity. I could go into those legal meetings, give them what they needed, then leave it there instead of carrying it with me all day and night.
What about the physical symptoms? Because trauma doesn't just live in your mind, it gets stored in your body too.
Oh man, yeah. I developed tension headaches that wouldn't quit. My shoulders were constantly locked up. I had digestive issues from the stress. My body was holding on to everything my mind was trying to process.
Did you do anything specific for that?
Started doing yoga, which I never thought I'd say. Also got into regular massage therapy and acupuncture. Anything to help release the physical tension that was building up.
I know some guys in this industry would hear yoga and laugh, but that mind-body connection is real and it's important.
Let them laugh. I'm sleeping better, my blood pressure is under control, and I'm not walking around like a ticking time bomb anymore. I'll take that over looking tough any day.
Real talk. Now I want to ask about something else that I think is important. How did this whole experience change the way you approach security work now?
It made me more selective about the jobs I take. I turn down work now that I would have jumped at before, because I know the red flags and I trust my instincts.
What are some of those red flags you look for now?
If a client is evasive about why they need protection, that's a hard pass. If they don't want to involve law enforcement when there's a credible threat, that's a red flag. If they're asking me to do anything that's legally questionable, I'm out.
Those seem like common sense, but when you're trying to build a business or pay bills, it's easy to ignore warning signs.
That's exactly right. I used to think I could handle anything, that I was skilled enough to navigate any situation. But skill doesn't matter if you're in a fundamentally compromised position from the start.
You can be the best operator in the world, but if you're working for the wrong person or in the wrong situation, you're still screwed.
Exactly. And I also changed how I vet clients. I do background checks on them now, not just the threats they're facing. I want to know who I'm protecting and why.
That's smart. Have you ever turned down work after doing that research?
Twice. One guy turned out to be involved in some financial schemes that were under investigation. Another was facing threats because he'd been sleeping with someone's wife, and the husband was connected.
Yeah, those are both situations where you're protecting someone from consequences of their own bad choices.
And I'm not interested in that anymore. I'll protect people who are in genuine danger through no fault of their own, but I'm not enabling bad behavior or getting caught up in someone else's mess.
That's a mature perspective. It probably costs you some business, but it also keeps you out of situations like the one you were in.
I make less money now than I did before, but I sleep better and I'm not constantly looking over my shoulder. That's worth more than any paycheck.
What advice would you give to someone just starting out in executive protection or close protection work?
First, get proper training. Not just tactical stuff, but legal training too. You need to know what you can and can't do, what constitutes justifiable force, how to document everything properly.
Documentation is huge. Everything you do should be documented.
Everything. Daily activity reports, incident reports, threat assessments, all of it. Because if something goes wrong, that documentation is what protects you legally.
What else?
Build a network of trusted professionals, other security operators, lawyers who specialize in self-defense cases, therapists who understand trauma, medical professionals. You need a support system before you need it.
Because when something happens, it's too late to start building those relationships.
Exactly. I was lucky that I had some of those connections, but I wish I'd invested more in building them before I needed them desperately.
What about the mental preparation side of things?
You have to mentally prepare for the possibility that you might have to use lethal force, and you have to be okay with the aftermath of that. Not just the legal stuff, but the psychological weight.
A lot of guys think they're ready for that until they're actually in that position.
Right, and even if you are ready tactically and legally, the emotional and psychological aftermath can destroy you if you're not prepared for it.
This is why I love having these conversations, man. This is the real stuff that doesn't get talked about enough in our industry.
We need to talk about it more. The glamorized version of security work is dangerous because it doesn't prepare people for the reality of what can happen.
Everyone wants to be the hero until they realize what being the hero actually costs.
And the cost is high. It's not just about being willing to put your life on the line. It's about being willing to deal with everything that comes after if you survive.